very good morning to you and good morning, Nigeria. It's Wednesday, the 27th of August, 2025, and you're watching Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aitu.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun. Thank you for waking up with us this morning. As always, we bring you the pulse of the nation, sharp conversations, fearless analysis, and the stories that refuse to be swept aside.
And today, we'll start with outrage from the academic world. At the University of Maiduguri, lecturers are protesting that what they call a shameful retirement package. As that's talking about 150,000 naira for professors who gave their lives to teaching and research.
A fair way to start the morning, and it set the tone for today's conversations. Part to bring you the Daybreak News, your early update on the policies, politics, and events shaping Nigeria today.
And after that, I will take you through the newspaper headlines and analysis beyond the ink and the paper. We will bring down what is really driving the headlines and what they mean for you.
And then in our big story, we tackle a question that never fades in Nigerian politics. The interplay of religion and politics, a blessing or a burden for Nigeria's future. We'll be joined by Dr. Samson Ijaola, Associate Professor of Religious Studies at Lee City University, Ibadan, an expert in religion and science. Together, we'll ask, has religion united us, divided us, or simply become another tool in the hands of politicians?
And of course, before we sign off, we will bring you Trend Watch, the online conversations shaping the mood of the nation.
It's midweek, it's engaging, it's political. This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. And trust me, you don't want to miss a moment.
No. I'm sure they don't want to miss any moment. But because of that, you can as well watch us live on www.dominion.org.ng or follow us across our social media platforms. And that's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Good morning, Yemi.
Good morning, Pat.
It's really a shameful incident. You saying that a professor, after going through a lot of cadre, I mean, from one, you start from undergraduate to master's, from master's to PhD, before you find yourself in that cadre to earn 150,000 naira as a for being retired out of school, where we have the issue of you've gone through research, you've gone through all your lives, you've been teaching. And of course, you taught some people that our politicians, our leaders, and now all what they could offer our professors is 150,000 naira. It's shameful. It's really shameful.
I think it's really sad, just like you said, because, I mean, some professors, I mean, for the past 10, 15 years, they've been on 450,000 naira. And sometimes when they go to the classes to teach, they'll complain bitterly about that amount. And once they retire, for them to now be fixed on 150,000 naira as a pension, I think is a very sad one. And I'm surprised that bodies that came out just recently to say that, can we begin to increase the salaries of the president and some top executives are not speaking on matters like this. So it's a very sad one. And apart from that, they also made some complaints to say that even the loan scheme that the federal government, has established
will be a burden to them.
It's a burden to them. So how can they make their lives better? By increasing this, pension for them? Because I think 150,000 naira, when inflation is around 21% increase, I think it's not good enough, I mean, for these people.
Well, going further, I read the story from, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. It was talking about, I can't really pinpoint his name now. It was talking about they recruiting 239 students, first class, to be a lecturer. But between 2021 to 2023, they have like 17 left. Others have left the institutions.
They will leave. See, if you meet
that, the remuneration is nothing to talk about, and it's and students will always come to tell you, we don't have money for handouts, we don't have money for this, because they feel like, okay, where they can get a small money, it's by getting getting a handout for them to buy. But now, if students are coming to say, oh, we don't have money to buy handouts, how would they survive? He said they have like 17 lecturers in the institution right now after being, that's 250 something or 230 something had left from the recruitment they made. They made 259, and now they're having 17 lecturers left in the school. So it talks so much about how how negligence, how our federal government, our government, has taken our education like it's nothing. They all prioritize politics more than education. It's really, really, really shameful. Really, it saddened my heart to say that 150,000 naira should be given to lecturers who had served or who will retire and feel like, okay, let me relax and eat the fruit of my labor.
After writing papers, after teaching for decades, I read in the story, some of them have taught for over 40 years, and then they're supposed to be earning 150,000 when they retire. See, if care is not taken, the remaining 17 will leave. Why? Because, I mean, the Western world are better offers for them. So they will definitely leave. And of course, I think they also mentioned that, the federal government just approved new nine private
after saying they ban that they won't approve. Now you approve 9. What for?
And then they also complain about the fact that most of these federal universities are underfunded. Students are not even picking most of these universities, because imagine an entire school that you have less than 1,000 students and you are paying a lot of hundreds of lecturers, a waste of resources at the end of the day. Why? Because they would rather go to other places. So why is the federal government doing that? They also made mention of the 2009 agreement of ASU.
Yeah.
I don't know, for the past few days now, I've been seeing news about, ASU. These people are complaining that they did a renegotiation of the 2009 agreement, because in 2025, are we supposed to be talking about 2009 agreement? So these are the areas that the government should look at.
And of course, honestly, they even talked about the adoption of UTAS over IPPIS to safeguard university autonomy. I think the federal government needs to look at some modalities where they can negotiate with the lecturers, because as it goes on, it's looming for a nationwide strike. I wouldn't know how many months, and this is going to affect the students' calendar. And I don't know how many months they will need to stay. Compared to, I remember in 2012 or 2011, thereabouts, students waited for like 8 months.
And there was a very serious strike, I think 2021 or 2022, for about 9 months. Students were at home.
So we don't know how many months this will...
Don't forget, this government has bragged about the fact that they've not embarked on strike ever since they came on board. So maybe...
And let's see
how that will play out.
Let's see how it plays out. And of course, let's see what will happen next.
Another issue is the issue of, renaming of this particular university. University of Maiduguri.
After Buhari.
What do you make of that?
Well, to me, I feel like you don't need to do that just to show that, oh, you actually love, or you actually you are loyal to that man, and you want to feel like, okay, we know what you've really done in the country, and that's why we're renaming that school in your name. No, there are so many monuments that you can name the late former president after. There are roads, you can commission roads and say, oh, this is late or Muhammadu Buhari way, and not school. And of course, this man is not from Maiduguri. It's from Katsina. But some said because it was an administrator there, and that's why they named the school after him. You don't need to do that. There are so many monuments that you can name after, not the school. I don't buy the idea of naming school after some people. No,
because sometimes
you can have an edifice, a big one. You can construct one and name it after such person, and not school.
Because most times it can reduce the popularity of that institution.
It's true.
Imagine University of Ibadan now. You rename
to after a politician or after somebody.
It will reduce the popularity.
You graduated from University of Ibadan. I will tell you, I graduated from Michael Yemi Adelako University.
Distortion right there. But then, if at all they want to do that, why is it that they don't meet with the administrative, or let me say the management of that institution? They just get to hear some of these things in the news, and they are shocked what is going on.
It shows the level of the leaders we have.
I think it's an affront, really, regardless of the fact that the federal government can do that. But if at all you want to do that, meet with the right people of that institution. Let it not meet them suddenly, and they are wondering what is going on. Honestly.
Well, that takes us away from that. And of course, let's head straight to what the weather reports are saying this morning. But that will be right after this break. Stay with us.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, we welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. It's time to go through the weather report this morning. Let's start from Agbowo, Oyo, Nigeria. Weather feels like 22 degrees Celsius, and of course, this morning it's cloudy around 12%. In the afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius. A few showers at 31%, and of course, in the evening, it's going to feel like 24 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 8%. Overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 9%. That's what we have for Agbowo, Oyo, Nigeria this morning.
And away from Ibadan, we head straight to Ife in Osun State, where we have those. It will be cloudy this morning and of 25 degrees Celsius and precipitation of 14%. And of course, in the afternoon, it's a few shower around 28 degrees Celsius, and of course precipitation of 32%. And in the evening, it will be 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, and of course 11%. And overnight, it will be 22 degrees Celsius, and it will be cloudy, and with a precipitation of 9%.
All right, let's cross over to Ife, North Osun, Nigeria. And this morning, weather feels like 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy, 13%. In the afternoon, around 20 degrees Celsius, few showers, 32%. In the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, 11%. And overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, cloudy, around 9%. That's what we have for Ife, North Osun, Nigeria this morning.
And from Ife, Osun State, we head straight to Sokoto. And Sokoto, this morning, light rain is expected this morning. That's on 25 degrees Celsius of precipitation of 70%. And afternoon will be 28 degrees Celsius, scattered thunderstorms around the 42%. And in the evening to be 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy of 12% precipitation, and overnight it will be 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy of precipitation of 9%.
Well, let's cross over to Kaduna, North Kaduna, Nigeria this morning. Weather feels like 70 degrees Celsius, and of course, we have humidity around 99%, pressure around 30.01, and of course, visibility around 4. That's what we have this morning for Kaduna, North Nigeria.
And away from that, we head straight to Owerri. And Owerri in Imo State, we have this one. And it's going to be high and low. And that's around 86 degrees Celsius and 71 degrees Celsius. And humidity at 99%. And pressure will be around 30.01. And of course, visibility is 8 on it.
All right, let's cross over to Enugu, North Nigeria this morning. Weather feels like 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 15%. In the afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 21%. And evening, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 7%. Overnight, 23 degrees Celsius and, of course, cloudy around 8%. That's what we have this morning for Enugu, Nigeria.
And of course, away from Enugu, we are straight to Ondo, Ondo State. And this morning to be 24 degrees Celsius, and precipitation of the weather to be cloudy is around 16%. And in the afternoon, 27 degrees Celsius, and the showers is expected, and with the precipitation of 38%. And in the evening to be 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, of 9% precipitation, and overnight it will be 21 degrees Celsius, cloudy, of 10% precipitation.
All right, that's all we can take for this morning. Thank you for staying with us up until this time. It's time for Daybreak News. Please stay with us. Pat is standing by.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito. President Bola Tinubu is expected to officially launch Nigeria's reverse national counterterrorism strategy in October, following the completion of an extensive review process designed to align the nation's security framework with emerging threats. The national coordinator of the National Counterterrorism Center, Major General Adamulaka, discussed these at the third quarter stakeholders meeting at NACTEST in Abuja, where he affirmed that the document has been finalized and forwarded to the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ibadu, for approval. He explained that the review was necessitated by the evolving nature of terrorism, including shifting tactics, the use of new technologies, and the exploitation of social and economic vulnerabilities. The Federal Airport Authorities Authority of Nigeria FAN has introduced enhanced wheelchair assistance and special support services for passengers with disabilities, the elderly, and others requiring mobility aid at airports across the country. Announcing the development in a statement on X, FAN's Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Obiageli Ora, noted that the wheelchair services will now be available from check-in through boarding and on arrival. The authority said the initiative was designed to ensure dignity, safety, and comfort for all categories of travelers. Oyo State's Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has said he will proceed on a month-long leave. This was contained in the notification letter to the House of Assembly, which was read during plenary. The letter was read by the Speaker, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, is in compliance with Section 19, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which mandates the Governor to transmit a written notice to the House before proceeding on leave. In the letter, Makinde conveyed his request for leave and formally handed over the responsibilities of the office to the Deputy Governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, who will serve as acting governor throughout the vacation. Oyo State's government has handed over 500 hectares of land to a foreign investor as part of effort to boost employment and attract foreign investment into the state. The land located within the Oluyole Free Trade Zone along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is expected to host a large-scale industrial development projected to generate 5,000 direct jobs for residents over the next 24 months. At the handover ceremony held at the site, Governor Seyi Makinde, represented by the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Professor Musiba Obabatunde, said the initiative aligns with the administration's 4-point development agenda with a focus on economic expansion and job creation. In his remarks, the Director of Operation for Investors, Rajesh Kuleti, revealed that the company plans to invest $500 million into the project. He said the facility will include warehousing, farm processing, and logistics infrastructure, and is designed to significantly boost the state's economy. Away from Oyo State, ahead of the 2027 general elections, the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, launched the continuous voter registration exercise nationwide. Abimbola Salami, the INEC resident electoral commissioner for Lagos State, spoke with newsmen at the state INEC headquarters in Yaba, Lagos. She stated that adequate preparations have been made to ensure the smooth conduct of the exercise by deploying sufficient materials and manpower to cover all 20 local government areas in the state, including the state INEC headquarters.
We have 21 designated centers for this phase. I need to say that this exercise will take place in 3 phases. We are in the first phase now. For the first phase, we have 21 designated locations. These are the 20 local government area offices, as well as our state office here in Yaba. And for each local government area as at now, we have deployed at least minimum of 3 machines per local government. Where we have large population like Adimashaw, we deploy
Some of the voters who turned out shared their experiences.
So basically, I knew that it's not going to be as smooth as it's supposed to be, but all in all, the service, the customer service, the patience, and I knew I was going to register.
I'm very happy because I was thinking that if I come here, I will spend a whole day. But now, it didn't take me 10 minutes before I'm now leaving.
The Commission also called on eligible voters to participate in the ongoing registration exercise. Away from Lagos State, the Benue State Warehouse of Assembly has suspended the immediate past Speaker, Ahonduna Dajo, for 3 months over an alleged attempt to impeach Governor Aisant Alier. Dajo's suspension followed a motion moved by the lawmakers representing Kayan State constituency, Tana Shimawua, and seconded by James Umoro from Akpa State constituency. Shimawua, who moved the motion during plenary, was one of those suspended by Dajo before his resignation as the Speaker. The Speaker, Alfred Badga, who ruled on the motion, reviewed Dajo's suspension from 6 to 3 months without the usual votes on such matters. And on business, the Nigeria Railway Corporation (NRC) has confirmed that one of its Kaduna-bound AKTS train services was involved in a derailment. The derailment, according to the NRC, the incident occurred at about 11 a.m. at KM 49 between Kubwa Station and Asham Station. In a statement issued via the official X account, noting that emergency services had been activated to respond promptly to the situation. And in sport, the Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL) has directed Kano Pillars, Barrow FC and Abia Warriors to upgrade their home grounds. Kano Pillars and Barrow FC are playing their home games at the Sani Abato Stadium, while the Umaya Township Stadium is home ground of Abia Warriors. The NPFL wants the pitches and dressing rooms at the two venues upgraded. The league body also directed that the technical benches and floodlights should be worked in. It further said the clubs will be forced to play their home games at neutral venues should they fail to heed the directive. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. Follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at DominionCast. And that is the Daybreak News. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
right, welcome back to the program Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Of course, we'll welcome you to the segment Newspaper Headlines and Analysis. And of course, this is where we'll tell you or we'll let you know what the papers are saying. And shortly after, we'll bring in our analysts to make sense out of what the papers are saying as well. Of course, I'll begin with the Nigerian Tribune. And Nigerian Tribune is coming with us when Osun takes federal government to Supreme Court over withheld local government allocations. And that's on page 3 of the paper. And of course, with this rider challenges transfer of local government funds to Abuja. Why this is happening? I mean, we don't know. I mean, the Supreme Court should know better, should give a verdict. And of course, we have this one from the top part of the Nigerian Tribune. We have ASU says patience with federal government runs thin as protests sweep campuses and threatens total strike after August 28 talks. And that's on page 4 of the paper as well. Beside it, we have court orders 6 banks to furnish IJP without account details linked to Shogore. A rider there. Another court orders forfeiture of 5 billion naira in shares linked to former Army General, and that's on page 4 and 11 of the Nigerian Tribune. Well, we'll come down a bit where we'll have the story or your partner's firm to develop Oluyole Free Trade Zone. And a rider there, zone will boost economic rate 5,000 direct jobs in 24 months. And that's on page 13 of the paper as well. And away from that to this human anger story, of course, we know that 7 were injured as Abuja-Kaduna train derailed. That's on page 23 of the paper. And we have 618 people on board. NEMA leads rescue team and SIB commences investigation, and passengers have been complaining before derailment, according to Shehu Sani. And to health story here, we have sugary drinks increases hair loss risk. Scientists warn. That's on page 11. Then the last story here, we have NSA hands over 128 rescues and for kidnapped victims to families, and rider there vows to hunt down bandits. And that's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Away from the Nigerian Tribune, we head straight to the Punch, and the Punch is coming with this politics story. 2027 PDP ticket zoning to South split not, and riders there. Parties, northern stakeholders to review decision next week. A move may favor Tinubu's re-election, warn Arewa youths. And the last rider there, zoning fair to South, says Middle Belt. You can read more on page 2 of the Punch. And from the Punch, we have this at the top part of the Punch. We have the paper, rather. We have U.S. court jails Osun monarch over $4.2 million COVID-19 fraud. And that's on page 29 of the same paper. We have 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay. That's some former visa is talking there. That's on page 7 of the paper. We have ASU protest rocks campuses ahead federal government talks. That's on page 29 of the paper. Well, we have this one as well, where Osun drags federal government to Supreme Court withheld allocation, and that's on page 7 of the paper. Away from the Punch, we head straight to the Guardian, and the Guardian is having this one: over 5,000 cargoes trapped at port amid 2 trillion naira damage losses, and that's on page 6 of the Guardian. And pauses over security contract maintenance after 180th train derailment in 6 years, and that's on page 6 of the paper as well. And we have security story here. In security here, government kidnap pastor worshipper Kogi in worshipper couple in Kogi, Katsina. That's on page 30 of the paper. And beside we have Rivers local government polls. Police vow tough time for Cartist. Trouble maker, and that's on page 29 of the paper. And this one story is common with all the papers this morning, having Osun drags federal government to Supreme Court over withheld local government funds, and that's on page 5. And lastly, we have electricity consumers raise concern over tariff hike, epileptic supply, and that's on page 7 of the paper. And away from that, we head straight to Daily Global. Daily Global is having this one, politics here. Feeding Atiku as PDP candidates in 2023 was wrong and was an error. Abba Moro is talking there. And we have by-election, PDP governors wallowing in denial of expired vitality. APC is talking, and Nigeria now a killing field with over 10,000 deaths under Tinubu's watch. Peter Obi is talking. Well, a lot's happening, so we head straight to Salient Times. And Salient Times is coming with this one. NRC suspends Abuja-Kaduna train services after derailment, and 2 riders there. Passengers sustained injuries, and NSIB begins investigation. And down below it, we have gunmen kill 8, injure others in Kaduna. And of course, so many stories there. Let me just quickly flip through them. August 16 by-election, Senator Usman drags Kaduna governor to ICC over PDP candidate's chieftain arrest. And beside it, we have Benue Assembly suspend ex-speaker over plot to impeach Hyacinth Alia. That's on the Salient Times. And away from Salient Times, we head straight to The Nation. The Nation is coming with this one. Economy story here. Oil giant Petrobras return is key gain of Tinubu's Brazil visit. And we have Air Peace clearance for Lagos Sao Paulo direct flights excites precedent. And we have Abuja-Kaduna train derailment. Tinubu promises support. And top of the paper this morning, the top side of the paper, we have Oyebanji. No one can beat Ekiti against Tinubu. Rider there, governor, 2 others pick form. And beside it, we have PDP regret feeding Atiku in 2023, says Abba Moro. And that's on page 3 of the paper. And the last one from The Nation is Benue Assembly suspend ex-speaker for anti-Alia plot. That's on page 4. And lastly, we have Nigeria's Dantoso elected vice president of Global Ports Body. That's on page 3 of the paper. Well, of course, it's time for me to unveil our analyst in the building. A very good morning to you, Temitope Ishola.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
Very well. I'm doing good.
You're doing good?
Yes, I'm doing good.
I hope you're not feeling this cold.
No, I'm getting better with it.
You're getting better with it. Well, of course, let's begin with this one. For every story we want to start with, let's just start with this politics.
Okay.
Or you want to start with education, but let's start with
politics.
Politics. I know you like politics.
Yes,
So let's look at it. 2027, PDP ticket zoning to South splits North. And 3 riders there. We have party northern stakeholders to reveal decision next week. And another rider, move may favor Tinubu re-election, warn Arewa youth, and zoning fair to South, says Middle Belt. Well, the decision by the leadership of the People's Democratic Party to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to southern Nigeria has pitted various northern groups in the northern part of the country, different camps, with many describing the development as undemocratic and contrary to the spirit of fair competition. Why did the PDP decide to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to the south? And some people believe that zoning strategy is politically motivated. How would you react to this?
I think for me, it's basically what should have been done in 2023. So I guess the leadership in PDP is trying to correct the errors they made. There's, like I keep always maintaining, there's a silent agreement between the northern divide and the southern divide of the country that the zone takes 8 years and it goes back to the next zone. And if we had to go by that calculation, we'd realize that that's why Jonathan lost out in the race in 2018, I think 2019 election, if I'm not mistaken, yes. That's what, no, 2015 election, thereabout, that's when he lost out in it. And why? Because some persons felt Yar'Adua were still owed 4 years because of the death of Yar'Adua. And that was the basis for the mobilization of the North against Jonathan back then. But now, we find ourselves in a similar scenario, not by the death of a president, but by the calculation of trying to unseat a sitting president. And the sitting president comes from the southern part. We shouldn't forget that after Jonathan was ousted, Buhari from the north had 8 years complete. So it's only normal for the south to feel, okay, the turn of the south is to complete their own 8 years before it goes back to the north. So based on this, PDP unwittingly have kind of entrenched this process because they've been in power since 1999, since the return of the Republic. So most of the argument that keeps popping up is that this is an understanding within the PDP and not in any other party. But whether we like it or not, it's something that has come to stay. So APC, for instance, followed that path, and that's why Tinubu is going to be there. And if he's done with his 8 years, for instance, a Southerner will not say he wants to come and take over.
You made mention of an error that's been made earlier. Does this align with the party's zoning? I mean, does it align with the party's policy and tradition?
Yes, definitely, because the last election was meant to have been zoned to the south. Okay. But because of certain influences at play, big man politics, strong men over strong institution mindset, Atiku had his way. And the council, the committee that was meant to come up with the proposition went ahead and threw it open, not even to the north or to the south, and threw that race very open so that anyone from either the north or the south could contest for the ticket.
Okay, now, northern stakeholders have rejected this. Would this decision affect the party's chances in the north during the 2027 election, and how?
Interests are at play, basically. So I believe PDP needs a strong leadership that can bring all of these warring factions into play. And why do I say this? As certain individuals are agitating for the Southerners to come on board, so also the Northerners have, and on both sides have arguments. For those on that end, they're arguing basically that it's only a Northern candidate that can defeat or unseat the sitting president. But on the other end of the argument also, we have those arguing that the Southerners can also unseat the sitting president with the backing of the North. So one thing is, I think, very clear. Whichever way the dynamics or the pendulum swings, the North is valid or is a big player in determining who would come in as the next president. So either it comes from the North or they pull in their weights to back whoever comes out from the party. But definitely, I still see amongst all the parties on ground, I still see PDP as a party that can unseat the sitting government.
Okay, let's look at the party dynamics and future implication. What implication might this decision have for future zoning arrangement within the party?
Yes, so now if this is not followed through with the southern, followed through as seen with the decision has been taken, it would affect the way the party would be able to mobilize themselves. So one thing is certain from results over the past, say, 4 or 5 elections in Nigeria since 1999, the southern votes have always gone in strong for PDP because of that arrangement on ground. Especially, for instance, the Southeasts have never voted for any other party in the way they voted for the PDP, despite they had not been on the ballot as the flag bearer at the national end. But they've always given that backing and that support. And the same applies down south. Just that I think the progressives, the APC that eventually became APC and the likes, had held sway in the southwest. But beyond that, PDP had enjoyed good voting numbers from this end. So if this is not followed through, that sense of fairness will be missing because people would feel like this is the southern will feel marginalized, that you've done your 8 years, we are yet to even complete ours, and you still, because the most important thing we should also notice, if they go ahead with this plan, by the time, for instance, let's say they're successful in unseating this president, they are going to use 8 years complete. And there's no argument the South can make to say they should do 4 years and it should come back 4 years. So it will spoil that dynamic. So the best bet is to allow the South to go and give the Southern candidates that they choose all of their backing and resources to just do this 4-year tenure. Then it comes back to them and they'll be more relaxed.
All right, let's see how it pans out come 2027. Something can still
definitely
happen in PDP.
Yes.
Just to know about the zoning, maybe they will tell you that, okay.
It's thrown open. And I think the best way they could do it, so as not to appear like they are marginalizing the South, would most likely to throw it open again.
Open again. Okay. Let's leave politics now and straight to education.
All right.
Our education is
sector.
is nothing to
write home
about. Well, we have 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay, according to former VC. And we have ASU protests rocked campuses ahead federal government talks. We have them in numbers. We have schools, universities that joined. We have the one in Maiduguri. We have from Ife. So many of them join in protesting what they said they don't want. This has been, part of the protest. I mean, the main demands of ASU that led to the protest happens to be implementation of the 2009 ASU federal government agreement and payment of withheld salaries and promotion arrears, and improved welfare packages for lecturers and rejection of government's proposed staff loan scheme, which they said will actually, they believe that the loan scheme will further burden lecturers financially. And lastly, adoption of UTAS over IPPIS to safeguard university autonomy. So how have students have been affected? No doubt about it, because calendars will change, and those that are supposed to graduate will
those that are to graduate in December now
will actually be praying to God, like, God, just intervene in this. And of course, we have, what step has the government taken to address ASU demands 2009 till now? How many years down the lane?
I think the government have been insincere with ASU. And I think, in all fairness to ASU...
Insincere in what sense?
In fulfilling the agreement. ASU did not put a gun to their head. They all went to a round table to...
But the agreement was not made during this administration.
Government is continuing, they say. So when you make decisions or policies, you are fully conscious... Is that why
we are in this hardship period? When you said government is continuing.
Yes, it is, because certain policies of the previous administration, if not properly thought together and put together, would affect whoever is coming in next.
Well, and that's why we are in this austerity we are in Nigeria.
So, no, and why that could be a reason, whoever is coming in also needs to also have one or two roles to play. So the actions you do, by virtue of the advisors you have, would help you know whether the policies that have been coming from the previous guys is going in the right direction. So you have that capacity and the power to either block the hole and try and re-engineer it in another direction. But if you allow it to fly, then that means it's a good way.
That's just a bit digression there, but then
absolutely.
Let's look at...
So I'm bringing that into play with ASU also. Okay. It means that if the government, they are about 2 years old now, if they had come on board and previewed everything and realized that it was not realistic, they could have also called a meeting ahead of time instead of ASU being the one to initiate these conversations, to say, okay, you know what, this is what we've seen, we don't think this is feasible, this is our proposal, or this is our counter proposal. And ASU, for instance, like I keep maintaining, they are still the most ideological based, strong associations in Nigeria. They won't come out to strike every single time. We just get to hear about this when agreements have not been reached. And that's why I said they have not been fair to them. Agreements have been reached. They've gone back to the classrooms to teach with the belief that, okay, we've reached the gentleman agreement and we trust that you are going to fulfill your agreement. So it's a case of where politicians promise and fail. And this is a classic example of it since 2009. And let's not forget that there have been multiple other meetings that have held since 2009, where a fraction of what has been agreed upon is being released and additional stuff. So just like the proverbial devil giving you one item and collecting 10 back from you, and that's how government has been doing. So going into this particular issue on ground, it's interesting to see that it's not a different news, it's not a different demand entirely. ASU has not asked for actual increment. I think the last 2-3 protests that ASU has embarked on has largely been saying, this agreement we have agreed upon, fulfill your agreement. And let's not even forget that ASU is still being fair also in that regard, because a lot of dynamics has changed economically. There's no Nigerian professor today that earns 750,000.
And that's why they're saying they want to peg them at 150,000 naira as retirement.
And I feel that's too small, because if you compare the Nigerian academics, that's when I mean academics like the lecturers, alongside their counterparts in other climes, they are less paid. And even these resources of 18, let's even take away the academics, the lecturers, even in terms of infrastructure in campuses, it's also showing, it's telling, because Nigerian students don't get the best. The lecturers are trying their best based on what is available. And you are not even giving them that motivation. How many grade 2 lecturers or doctors can afford to buy a house from their earnings or from savings and the likes? That is not possible. No professor in Nigeria is a millionaire. Perhaps you are a VC and maybe that's the only business, and that's a political position.
Even a VC,
no, that's even like a political position, not as a lecturer.
A lecturer.
So is that office as a VC?
Well, it worries me that these are the people that we say they should come and be INEC residential,
which is something that should not even be happening.
It's not be okay. Fine, if it happens, somebody that you are not paying well. That kind of person says someone or a politician that wants to pay him, it would definitely...
That's why I said they shouldn't be, because this is not a conversation about it. That's I'm picking my words wisely.
Okay.
But that in itself entrenches some of the electoral malpractices.
Well, let me align this. 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And
I think I read the story and the man was saying that they have 17
so why he even said
first-class lecturers. I mean, and he went on to say that maybe this is what we'll have. We only have female lecturers in school. And
they themselves, in another 6 months, they're also out. So, and if you look at it, the Nigerian academic setting, even away from the teachers, even looking at students, an average student that graduates from his BSc or BA program doesn't want to come back to do his master's in Nigerian university. So, you can greet someone today and say, hi, hello, how are you? Physically at maybe Mokola Bridge. In 24 hours, 48 hours, you probably will see him posting a picture that he has already moved to another country, Canada or US, for masters or for a program degree. So the teachers know, and our teachers are well trained, let me put it that way. The lecturers are well trained.
But they need to be motivated.
They need to be motivated. So, and senior climbs out there, when they see you with the experience you have, the capacity you have, because we read a lot here, because of the society here, you are propelled, something is pushing you to read, to become better. And that sense of energy and motivation, you won't find it in most other places. So what you see is that people are ready to poach our talents over here. And we gladly make things, you know what it means for, I have friends currently studying out there for their masters, doctors. Some went on scholarship of $250,000. Some went on scholarship of $20,000. And they are giving them a job also while they are there. So they have nothing to worry. Just come to class, attend your lectures, and be done. Even some others also, I think the one in Dublin. The environment is
conducive.
It's conducive. Like my friend in Dublin now, she did a master's program within just 9 months, basically.
But in Nigeria, how many months will you?
You'll probably spend up to 21 months. Not because you're attending classes, but because they don't even have the time to even push you forward.
So let me ask, is federal government going to negotiate with ASU, or what do you say is going to play out so that to avert this nationwide
They have
strike?
No option. They just have to negotiate. But this time around, I think ASU needs to get certain commitment.
What kind of commitment is that?
Probably a backlog pay of some resources, the stepping down of policies like the UTAS.
Do you think the federal government is going to do that right now?
So I think this
because
is
what is in federal government?
This is even to prepare the masses, the citizens, because very soon the citizens' parents will start begging us so that please concede, let the government. So now this time I think it's best people are aware so that the direction is pointed to the federal government. Because whichever way this strike would go, if they eventually declare it, if it's going to last for 3 months, if it's going to last for 6 months, it's going to be indefinite, all lies in the hands of the federal government. So, as quick as the federal government wants this case to be settled, that's how quick it will be settled. So if the federal government sees that, oh, yes, this is very paramount, we need to do something about this, federal government just needs to bring them to the table, reach an agreement. Oh, we can't pay you every of this thing. At least I've been on some negotiation tables as a student activist back then. When you're with the school management, you go with like 10 demands, but already you know that you just need maybe 2, 3 agreed upon. So as soon as you get the 3, you have some basis to go back and trust that, okay, in the next 2, 3 months or 1 year, you will fulfill the remaining one. So ASUU needs
should stand on the ground.
So ASUU needs to stand on their ground, but be willing to compromise. When I mean compromise on the strength and the length of the demands that they are expecting answers from. So they can go and prioritize it.
And they should keep reminding.
So they should prioritize it and say, okay, of all of this agreement that we are up on, we need this sorted. If this is sorted, we go back. So that way, because there's no way you can also go and negotiate by grandstanding on all issues that you go to the table with. So government must also show commitments this time around. Tell them, okay, that might have been the previous government. We, as a government, this is our commitment to you. We would do this, we assure you this, and to show proof that we are serious, we are giving you this.
All right, because of our time, let's quickly look at this. Well, The Guardian, over 5,000 cargoes trapped at port amid 2 trillion naira damage losses, and how are importers, I mean, the impact of these on stakeholders, how are importers and manufacturers affected by the trapped cargoes?
Before I even talk about them, the masses, the students, I said students, the citizens are also going to be affected by this, because it means that certain costs of goods would go higher now. And I feel sad that this is still something we're still contending with at this age and time in Nigeria. That port especially has been the backbone of imports and exports business in Nigeria. And I've always felt that with the resources that have constantly been funneled through that port, it should have been upgraded.
Well, let me align this. President Bola Tinubu, that was yesterday, praised the remarkable growth of country's capital market under his administration, and he went further to say that the expansion of market capitalization and trading volumes reflected the strength of his policy. So, Mr. President is saying this while receiving, Director General of the Securities and Economic Exchange Commission, that's talking about Dr. Momotimi Agama and the board, and we're having this, and that's why. Where is Mr. President coming from? If you say that we have a remarkable growth and it's not seen in the masses,
I think for me, that's why I always have issues when governments come out and give out figures, postulate statistics. I always ask, how does it relate down in the market? How does it affect the common man to be able to purchase,
to understand
food? So if you tell us that the GDP of the country has grown by 10% and you're celebrating it on social media, how does it affect us? Can the citizens, the lowest member, can it still afford to purchase? So all of those things come into play, and that's why I really take their words lightly. I don't hold much value. They don't hold much value to me, because I just feel they just lie or propaganda, basically just to pop themselves up to look good. But the reality is still this. When you go to the port, for instance, because I have interest in the logistics sector, you see the long queues of trucks trying to get into the ports to be able to get goods out. So you see some trucks that stay on that for 1 week, some 4 days, and there is no guarantee they will even be done on that same day. So the port needs to be looked into properly. 2 trillion naira is a lot. That can,
if you pump that into our economy, it's
even the academics alone, you pour that into, it will receive life.
Not just pouring, but then we should
see. I mean, when I mean pouring, like set up proper infrastructure. Remunerations and the likes. The sector will not say they didn't see anything, you didn't do anything. Even the students will not say they didn't see anything in it. So there's a need for them to actually do all of that and get it well. So it might have been bad over time. I think more for me, I'm always interested in seeing solutions. Okay, we know it's bad. We need to now see whether the government has it in them to bring out or enact solutions, policies that helps us to solve this, to ensure that in another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, there are changes in it, and that resources is channeled back into the economy, because things like this would affect even more goods coming into the country, and it will also affect the productivity of those also exporting products out of the country.
All right, thank you so much, Temitope Ishola, for making sense out of what the papers are saying this morning. Of course, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Of course, coming up next is Big Story. Keep the conversation going via our social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And of course, you can watch us live on www.dominion.org.ng. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Religion and politics are two of the most powerful forces that have shaped human history. From Plato's Republic to Machiavelli's The Prince, from Augustine's City of God to Rousseau's The Social Contract, thinkers have wrestled with the tension between faith, power, and governance. Augustine once said, "The earthly city which does not live by faith seeks only an earthly peace," while Karl Marx famously declared religion to be the opium of the people. Here in Nigeria, the story is even more layered. Religion is not just a private matter of the soul. It is a public force that influences elections, governance, and even national cohesion. We see it in the debate around same-faith ticket, in the mobilization of voters along religious lines and in the delicate balance between our constitutional secularism and the reality of religious dominance in the public sphere. Today on Big Story, we asked the interplay of religion and politics, a blessing or a burden for Nigeria's future. To help us unpack this complex relationship is someone eminently qualified, Dr. Samson Idahola, Associate Professor of Religious Studies at Leeds City University, Ibadan. He specializes in the philosophy of religion and a focus on religion and science, and his research spans religion and governance, religion and culture, and interfaith studies. Welcome on board, Doctor, this morning.
Thank you, Mary. Hear me?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to our viewers.
Definitely. Great to have you on board this morning.
Thank you for bringing me here.
All right, let's start from this, Dr. Idahola. Historically, philosophers like Rousseau argue that no society can exist without some form of civil religion. In Nigeria, how do you see the relationship between religion and politics? Are they partners in shaping values, or are we dealing with unhealthy entanglement?
Yes, religion and politics in Nigeria is complex, interesting, and it always elicits discussion, both among the public and the scholars. You know, we have the scholars have their own opinion, and the public, of course, is open to discuss any subject around religion. Religion, because everybody, well, most people practice religion, so you have different people that will speak from their perspectives about religion. Yes, scholarly opinion is just to shape the reasonableness of the argument around religion. And in our country, religion has been a blessing. We have people who are trained through religion, who are being mentored by religious leaders to become leaders of our nations. And mention any leaders of our nations today, they are all one way or the other. They all belong to one religion or the other. So religion has been a blessing. Religion has helped to shape education. The missionary education came through religion from Europe, and we took it up here by our indigenous religious churches. And Islam also started their own various schools. The foundation of education in Nigeria is based on religion. Either you look at it from Islamic or from Christian view. Even our African traditional religion has its own way of educating its people before what we call the missionary religions came. Because both Islam and Christianity are missionary religions. In as much they came from another country, the preachers of those religions came from another country, Christianity, Europe, America, and Islam from Arab countries to Nigeria to propagate the religions. We accepted this religion and they became ours. We've to a great extent indigenized all this religion. Talk of Islam. Islam is being indigenized in Nigeria. That is why the Islam in the north is a bit different from the Islam in the southwest. Why? Because of the way we indigenize it. And that is what we call contextualization of faith in religious studies. So it is normal. There is the religion being practiced, Islam being practiced in Saudi Arabia, may be a bit different from the way it's being practiced. It doesn't mean the doctrine change, but the practice might change because there is a difference between religious experience and religious practices. So looking at it together, religion has been a blessing to our nation. It has produced leaders, great leaders. It has produced great educators. It has produced captains of industries. So we cannot run away from the benefit of religion in our country, although we have some pocket of troubles when it comes to religious crisis in the country. And this is basically because of misunderstanding and lack of tolerance. And that is the areas we need to address as a nation. And for our politics, of course, religious leaders have been at the forefront of campaigning, one way or the other, for good leadership, good governance. And that is expected of any good religious leader. They must channel energy towards producing good leaders for the country. Just imagine one of the Anglican archbishop was saying somewhere in the East recently, and was talking about how religious leaders have been dissuaded not to participate in politics.
Can you hold your thought? We need to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue.
Thank you.
Please stay with us. back. Thank you for staying with us. Doctor, you were speaking about, our politicians and the religion in the country.
Yes. You see, both religious leaders in our countries participate in religion directly or indirectly. We've got pastors who decided to not just speak for a religious party, a political party. They participated as candidates of political parties. Some pastors today are members of particular political party in Nigeria.
Well, Nigeria is supposed to be a secular state.
That is a very complex debate.
Okay.
Yes, technically, Nigeria, by way the constitution was framed, sound to be a secular state. And in a secular state, you didn't expect religion to participate in governance. You didn't expect religion to dictate the politics and the policies of government.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that religion doesn't have a role as part of the constituency of the state. Because religion is part of the state, religious leaders, religious people. Now, scholars like, scholars who are liberalist, political liberalists, of course canvass for secularism. And secularism is just to say that, let the religion has its freedom. Let religion be free. In fact, the major issue in secularism is religious freedom.
Okay.
People should be free to practice whatever faith they desire. Now, secondly, religion should not intervene or interfere in the affairs of state policies, state decisions, so that those who are not religious people in the state would not be biased. Number two, religion will not be, because religion comes from the aspect of divine authority.
Okay.
And when you are dealing with governance, you must deal with reason. Now, reason and divine authority may have a kind of friction when it comes to beyond politics or decision of the state. Now, in the state, you just don't have religious people. There are non-religious people. There are atheists. There are agnostics in the state. There are different religions. So a particular religion cannot now come up and dictate to government or to the president of Nigeria, this is what must be done because it has been revealed to me by prophecy or by revelation. That will not apply. Or according to my holy scripture, the state must be governed this way. If you bring that idea as a Christian, and also Muslim comes with his own idea, no, by my scripture and by my religion, state is to be governed this way, then there's going to be crisis. And that is why the idea of secularism is okay. That let the state practice secularism so that you don't have any interference with religious authority. Religious authority will not also influence the decision of the state. So that is the basic thing. Also, the decision of the state should be based on objectivity and reason and go by natural law, not necessarily any religious law. But it is not same in Nigeria.
Okay.
Why? Because Nigeria is not just multicultural, it's multi-religious country. And in a multi-religious country, you are going to play politics that dance around religion. And religion also will want some influence, however little, on politics, because decision of state might affect its existence, one. It might also affect the existence of its adherents. And if decision of state, for instance, when there was COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria, and the state says, churches, mosques, no gathering of this particular number anymore, shut down technically. No, diverse reactions emerged from religious leaders. But is the decision of the state wrong? No. In order to contain COVID-19 pandemic, the state made a very good decision. You see some of the religious leaders who supported the idea of the state. And why some religious leaders disagree with the idea of the state, they have their personal reasons, which is not the area of analysis for today.
Okay.
But the point is, in order for the state to run effectively, objectively, reasonably, without being dictated to by religious authority or being influenced by religious fanaticism or bigotry. Now the state has to practice secularism. And that is the beauty of having a secular state.
Okay, speaking of that, Doctor, do you think because we have overly mixed religion with politics, yes, religion is allowed to operate, and because of that, let me cite an example. In the 2023 presidential election, while the APC had a Muslim ticket, we saw some, religious persons, churches, they rolled eyes to say that, well, why should we allow this? Why should we have, the same religion, speaking of the candidates, for a political party? What do you make of that? Because that caused a lot of outbursts, across the country.
You are correct. It caused a lot of outburst. And why? Because of mistrust among different religions in Nigeria.
Okay.
There is a gross mistrust between Islam and Christianity. Most Christians believe that there is an Islamic agenda to Islamize the country.
Okay.
They have their arguments. And the Muslims also feel that, oh, Christian has this agenda of secularizing the nation. Now, the two parties did not trust themselves on the election matter. Now, coming with Muslim ticket, raised that signal that, oh, there is an agenda, Islamic agenda, to dominate Nigeria. And once there is a Muslim ticket, the Christians will feel that, oh, we are the target now.
Okay.
And we are being considered of no electoral value. The point is, even in the north, in the northern Nigeria, the problem is far serious because of the Christian minority who had suffered some intolerance from the majority.
Like Deborah's case.
Like Deborah's case.
Okay.
There are cases whereby the Christians in the north seems to be persecuted because of their faith. Why? Islam has its own right and Christianity has its own right as religion in Nigeria. Because according to Nigeria Constitution, religion is a private affair. It should not bother about state matters. However, we can't rule out that people who are in the politics are religious people too. They are either Muslims or Christians.
Can it be toned down?
Yes, they can tone it down.
Okay.
And that is what the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has done.
Okay.
He tried to tone it down. Whereas it is difficult for any politician not to look for where to get votes, how to get votes. And that, I guess, was what made the president went for Muslim ticket. Why? He's looking for the Muslim majority in the north. Because most times, the Muslims in the north do not see Muslim in the south as, in quote, strong Muslims.
Okay.
And so, that is another way where there is a kind of dichotomy in the idea of regional religion. Okay. The same religion. So you can share the same religion, you can identify the same religion, but not practice it the same way. And there is no law that says you should practice it the same way. Okay. That is why even the northern Christians in Nigeria, when they northern Muslims in Nigeria, when they get to Saudi Arabia, Becca, they are not treated as the Saudi people. Why? Because they still see your own Islam as maybe suboptimal to their own. Okay. So that always exists. So in order for this president, the incumbent president, to make way for himself, to get voters from the northern part of Nigeria, perhaps is the reason he went for Muslim ticket. Okay. Because for politics, what matters is winning, not to satisfy a particular religion.
On that note, I have an argument. Sorry to quote you, Doctor. Some have said that if we have the same, if you have the candidates, maybe the president and the VP from the same religion, and for other political parties, we have maybe Christian, Muslim. So it shouldn't cause, an outburst, really. What do you make of that?
Well, it will cause an outburst because you have Christians in large numbers. Christians are in large number in this country.
Okay.
You cannot rule out that, what we will call electoral constituency. Because in a way, that's a constituency, that's a block vote on its own. So it's safe for you to achieve stability. Okay, look at what happened. Even the Vice President Shetima when it came to the election of Senate President. He had to meet a particular group, I think they call them stability group, and try to canvass for a Christian Senate President, that it will look somehow for the nation to have a Muslim president, vice president, Muslim speaker, and a Muslim Senate President. It's going to raise a red flag somewhere. And to the extent that he made a comment that almost annoyed the Muslim community in Nigeria. Because he said a Christian Southern politician, however bad the Christian Southern politician is still better off than a Muslim Puritan in the Muslim Puritan politician in the North. He came to a TV station to apologize for that comment. But he did that in order to appeal to the Muslim politicians that, please, we need to look at this. We can't have all heads of government in this country to be Muslims. You need to recognize that there is another. Either we like it or not, that's a huge constituency. And you must take note of that in order to have a balance in the state affairs. Because everyone in politics has one religion or the other that he or she is practicing. So we must recognize the role of religion in politics. Why? Because religion itself has formed a political bloc. And that is why there is now Christian Northern Nigeria Political Association. They have their own forum. Because they know that if they do not develop their own political sensibility, form a coalition, they may not be able to stand against the Muslim coalition, political coalition in the northern Nigeria. They must have a voice. So the problem now in the northern Nigeria is stronger compared to Muslim North, Christian South. So it's now Muslim North, Muslim Christian North. So because the Christian North, the Christian in the northern part are in the minority. Not so a minority, of course, the Muslims are more in number. But they can affect the political outcome of any presidential election. So it is important for any politician to consider religion as a political bloc on its own. Now, PFN, Christian Association of Nigeria, are taking politics more seriously than ever. And that is very important. In Islam, Islam as a religion do not separate religion from politics. Both religion and politics, let me put it this way. Islam is a religion, politics, and culture. It's a way of life. Now, Christianity seems to not to want, because of different doctrinal beliefs, there are different views, perspectives on the role of politics.
But speaking
how
about
Christians should engage in politics.
Sorry, Coach, we've seen cases whereby, some church leaders will come out to say, vote for this particular, person, or maybe support this political party. What do you make of that?
That is very wrong. I can say that categorically. Why? Because as a church leader, you have people under you who belong to different political parties. Any religious leader, it should not necessarily be a Christian leader, even as a Muslim leader. If you are the imam of a particular Muslim group or mosque, and you have PDP members, you have APC members, you have Labour Party members in your church, you have PDP members, APC members. So if you now stand for a particular party, what are you doing in your church? You're already creating a divide. Okay, look at, for instance, people criticize Redeemed Christian Church of God and Pastor Adeboye because of his silence about the last election. Or who maybe didn't say anything, he didn't favor any political party. And he came out and said, I don't vote. He said, I don't even vote, but I have my electoral voter's card. He said, the reason I don't vote is simple. I have them in my church, APC members. I have them, PDP, they're all my children. So as a father figure, as a religious leader, you do not have to say, vote for this particular person, vote for that particular person. I think a religious leader should be neutral. You should rather ask people to vote for certain values. Vote for somebody who can deliver this. Somebody that can deliver good governance. Somebody that can deliver welfare for the people. You look, if you see someone who is corrupt, talk about corruption. You don't need to mention the person. But you can indirectly, let people know that if you vote for a corrupt leader, this is where we will be led to as a people, as a nation. It will affect you. It will give me a dig. By the time you come to my church and ask for welfare, I may not be able to offer welfare to everybody. And that is the point. Same thing goes for a leader of Umar, imam. You can't say, vote for APC, vote for PDP. That is wrong. That is why position of Khan is not about vote for a particular leader, but the position of Khan, Christian Association of Nigeria, is, we are not so supporting Muslim ticket. You must recognize Christianity as a major political bloc, in quote, in Nigeria. And that is sensitivity. It's going to give stability. We know the tension between Christianity and Islam in Nigeria, and that is why we continue to preach tolerance, religious dialogue, in order to ameliorate any situation of tension in religious sphere.
Speaking of tolerance, sorry to quote you, there was a concept called Chrislam that emerged in the 70s and 80s, especially in Lagos. How well did that help us to build unity and, of course, improve tolerance in Nigeria?
The Chrislam that emerged in Lagos is one-man idea, and which cannot survive. It didn't survive really, because when a one-man idea comes and it's not well accepted, it dies off in a way. But now there is what we call religious pluralism in religious studies. That is why religious studies is different from theology, because religious studies is academic study of religion, or what we can say scientific study of religion. But theology is more of denominational doctrinal thing. So there are two different ways. So religious studies scholars are not necessarily theologians, but some of them can be theologians. They could combine the two. Now, Chrislam will not survive because if it's not based on the ideology of religious pluralism. And this is the concept of Paul Tillich. And it says, God, or what we call the supreme being, is like a big elephant. And the religious adherents, it makes them like different human beings, blind people. He said, if a blind man, if you ask 6 blind men to touch an elephant, and one touch the tusk of the elephant, he will say, oh, the divinity is like a long snake. If another one touches the leg, he will say, it looks like a mighty tree. If another one touches the bottom of the elephant, he will say, it's like the deity is like a mountain. So everyone will see it in different ways. So how do we now bring all this together? Is to now respect that religious pluralism is about the various perspectives of God being brought together in order for people to appreciate that the supreme being is not something holistically known by one person. And that was what even a writer in the scripture, Paul, says. They said we know in part. So everybody even know the supreme being in part, not holistically. No religion can say we have a full grasp of the Almighty God. And that is why we talk about religious exclusivism and inclusivism in philosophy of religion. Why? Because in exclusivism, people believe that, my way is the only way to God. No, there is no singular way to God in the sense of religion. Christianity can say we are the only way to God. That is religious exclusivism. Now, inclusivism can say, though I'm the only way to God, there are some other ways to God, but they are not as good as my way. That is inclusivism. And then we now come to religious pluralism, that, everybody seems to have a way to God. Why not just respect this other person's religion? I respect your religion. But bringing elements of various religions together is not Chrislam. Whichever way we call it, is what we call syncretism. The syncretism happen in diverse ways.
Even people complain that it led to more confusion, that concept of Chrislam.
Yes, because, because people who own those religions, like Islam is a religion on its own, and it recognizes itself as a sole religion. There may be division in the midst of Islam, because we have the Shiite, you have the Sunni Muslim, you have different the orientation about Islam itself.
Okay.
Now, Christian, of course, various denominations too. So if you now bring, say, no, I'm bringing Islam and Christianity together, the preachers or the adherent of that religion will say, no, you are trying to do something to my religion. You are trying to create a problem for my religion. How can you merge this religion together? Whereas there is what we call comparative religion.
Okay.
Comparative religion is that I appreciate your religion. I know what this religion is all about. I will not critique that religion. It's not for me to say that it is true or it is false. No, in comparative religion, we don't choose to say it's false. So every religion has its own right to exist. Every individual is not born religious. No one is born religious. You were born, and when you came to this world, you chose the religion, maybe through your family.
And sometimes some people even change.
Yes, that is true evangelism.
Okay.
When you convert, proselytization or evangelism, you can change based on what you see there. So people change for economic reasons.
Okay.
Because there are diverse reasons people change. Some people change because, of course, they are searching for meaning. They are searching for spirituality. People change for various reasons. And I tell you the truth, most people, so a number of people change for economic reasons. So, people who change for economic reasons now, and those who are benefiting from a particular religion, I've always said this in my class, one of the problems in religion is that the businessmen in religion would defend religion with anything, including religious crisis. They can sponsor religious crisis in order to protect their religion.
Okay.
Because it's an area of business. People who make money from religion are there. People who make huge money from religion are there. And they will fight for that religion because it's an investment.
All right, Doctor.
That they must protect.
Because of time, let's come back to the issue of politics now, because I mean that was going smoothly, but then we need to put a stop to it because of time. Honestly, people have said that, many scholars, even Nigerians, the youth have argued that because we have mixed politics with religion, the politicians have found a way to weaponize religion, and then you can take 2015 for instance, because that was a time that the APC, when they came together, they went for a Muslim person, Buhari, and then they looked for a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, as this VP, and it was a good plan because it worked out perfectly. Because people felt like, okay, you have this, you have that, and of course we can all come together to achieve something good. However, Karma said something. He said religion is the opium of the masses. Is addictive. Bless you. And because of that, people are already complaining about 2027 that is not even close yet. That should you make any plans that we are not comfortable with, we are going to protest, whether verbally, whether online, anyhow. What do you make of that?
Well, number one, as religion is an opium of the masses, it's also, for me, a caffeine that can lead to crisis.
Okay.
Opium is something that dulls your senses and make you sleep, tranquilizers. But a religion at times can be more than opium. Of course, it can be a serious caffeine, if not something, something higher than that.
Tell me about
that can lead to violence.
Okay.
If religion is opium of the masses, people should just be sleeping. And whatever religion tells them, they just go sleep with it.
Okay.
But at times, it causes problems. And that is one. Now, for me, Kamas is right, because religion can dull your senses. In a way, it dulls the senses of people who want to die because of it. Because nobody can die for God. God did not ask anybody to die for him, really. Because from the reading of various scriptures, you cannot actually fight for God. Now, but you can defend your faith in a civil way.
Okay.
It is proper. Now, for politics 2027, I think a good politician should consider the religious bloc.
Okay.
It is important to consider major religions for the stability of the state. It's very important. Both religious blocs, especially Christianity and Islam, don't forget we have African traditional religion.
Yes.
And they are also agitated with the Sheshe issues.
You want to be included?
Yes, the Sheshe issues and the passing of the Obas. Okay. And the issues that comes with the right of burial, which one to follow. Is it the African traditional religion or the other religions.
Okay.
These are issues. They are political issues.
Like the Awujale case.
Yes, Obaship is political. It's a political office. It's whoever is Oba is a ruler of state. He's a politician at his own level. Now, for 2027, it's important that politicians should look at, and parties should look at the importance of various religious blocs. We cannot, the reason it appears easy now, there are no issues with the Muslim ticket post-election, is the way the incumbent president handled it. He had made himself someone who is highly religious tolerant. And we can see it in some of his ministerial appointments. If not of that, people don't trust anyone like that will come. Because if a religious fanatic become the president of Nigeria, people believe that President Muhammadu Buhari, late President Muhammadu Buhari, is a religious fanatic. And that was why people really would not want to vote for him if he had made a Muslim his vice president. Of course, APC knew he would have lost that election. And they were sensible. But Tinubu is somewhat different from late President Buhari. They felt that this man, people who knew him and said, no. Tinubu doesn't care either you're a Muslim, you're a Christian. He's an objective person. He prefers meritocracy. Yeah, I think that's the ideology.
There was a time he mentioned that even his wife is a Christian, a pastor.
His wife is a pastor. We all know that.
Okay.
Some of his children are Christians.
Okay.
So, his family is more or less an interreligious family. So, and somebody from the southern Nigeria is seen to be, even if he's a Muslim, they seem to be more tolerable than somebody coming from the north as a Muslim. A northern Muslim is often seen as a fanatic. Is coming to perpetuate Islamic domination. That is what often bothers the Christian blocs in Nigeria. But we must appreciate, that's why any politician will need to look at this thing keenly. Wouldn't I create instability? Will I be able to manage these things? Can I trust my vice president? Because Shettima has proven to be even a tolerable religious person. His view about Christianity is not harsh. It's not harsh on any religion. His ADC is a Christian. He has a driver who is a Christian. So he had people around him working with him who are Christians. And such a person, and he respects their religions. So such a person is seen as, more acceptable than people they know as fanatics. There are politicians in the north, people know that they are fanatics. So if you choose them, if a president chooses, the president candidate chooses them to be a vice president, there's going to be a crisis. Okay,
Doctor, do you think because we have mixed politics with religion, it has sent us a bit backward? Do you agree with that notion? Why?
No. Why? If you wrongly mix anything, it will lead to backwardness.
Okay.
If you rightly mixed it, it will lead to backwardness. At least a little chemistry will help us in that. A quantity of a chemical with right quantity of another chemical will bring the result you want. But make a mistake of adding what is not supposed to be added, then you have trouble.
Are we mixing it well in Nigeria?
Well, it depends on the number of factors. Okay. I think at some time we mix it well, sometimes we don't mix it well. I would say presently Tinubu has mixed it well. Governor Makinde is mixing it well to a large extent. So you will see it in the result. But in some cases, we've had fanatical leaders who didn't mix it well, who are religious bigots, and that shouldn't be. A leader must respect the constitution of the nation, must know that religion is a private affair, and he must now understand how to bring in his religious view or doctrines to bear on the affairs of the state. Religion should not be the determinant in the affairs of the state. It should rather be objective and reasonable in the affairs of the state, using logical reasons. And that is why I think it's better with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right, Doctor, before we go, I think I read an article, and of course maybe a thesis sometimes, that speaks about the concept of Imanism and Renism, 14th century. And those people, they were more particular about intellectualism rather than focusing majorly on religion. Can we adopt that in Nigeria, really? Is it possible?
That's the idea of John Locke too. Nicho, and the likes of them. They are liberalists, so they will think that way. In fact, in philosophy of religion, we see humanism as a religion on its own. So that, what is important is human. So you worship yourself. So we rely on our intellectual capacity, ability to reason, analyze situation in order to make decisions. And it's not about a particular doctrine of a religion.
Okay.
And it's not wrong to have that orientation. And I will also say that it is not wrong to have a religious orientation and be objective.
Okay.
Now, somebody like former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, he's a Christian. But if you see him talking, he's an objective, reasonable Christian. He doesn't necessarily bring religious doctrine into affair of state. You know, you must know where to draw the line. And I think that's the most important thing. A political leader, a leader of state must know where to draw the line. Obama is a Christian, though some of them may not be so pronounced, but he belongs to United Trinity Church. So we have different leaders who had practiced, some would present themselves as agnostics. Well, but some of them had religious background, but they didn't allow it to affect the affairs of the state. And I think that's what is most important.
Right. Before we go, how do we achieve tolerance in this country? Because, I mean, we are looking forward to the 2027 general election in terms of mixing religion and politics. How can we achieve that sane atmosphere?
We must respect every religion. In fact, beyond tolerance, I talk about religious acceptability. Let us accept that this is my religion, this is your religion, and it won't cause a fight. Respect my religion, I respect your religion. There will be a fight. Once you're able to respect my religion and I respect your religion, we won't fight. I have good Muslim friends, very good Muslim friends, and I'm very proud of them anywhere I go. So the point is, we must respect others' religion. Don't speak against their religion. You can preach your religion without disrespecting my religion, without violating my right, without seeing me as political nuisance, without seeing me of no electoral value. Once you respect my religion, there will be tolerance.
All right. It's been an interesting conversation with Doctor this morning. We've been speaking with Dr. Samson Ejaola, Associate Professor of Religious Studies at Leeds City University, Ibadan, and he specializes in the philosophy of religion with a focus on religion and science.
Thanks so very much.
We appreciate you coming on board this morning. We hope that next time you grace this platform.
By the grace of God.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, this is where we say Abiwahi, but before we go, religion and politics, faith and power, two rivers that constantly meet in Nigeria's public life. The interplay can be both a blessing and a burden. A blessing when faith inspires justice, unity and peace. A burden when it is reduced to a political weapon, deepening division and mistrust. The challenge before Nigeria is not to erase religion from the political sphere, but to reimagine its role so that faith serves as a moral compass for governance, not a tool for manipulation. As the Nigerian philosopher Sophie Oluwole once said, the task of philosophy is not to destroy belief, but to guide it towards the common good. And that perhaps is where our failure or our future lies, in transforming religion and politics from forces of conflict into engines of national renewal. This has been the big story on Daybreak Live, the interplay of religion and politics, a blessing or a burden for Nigeria's future. I am Oluwayemi Adelaku. I leave you in the hands of these few words. We were all humans until race disconnected us, religion separated us, and politics divided us, and wealth classified us. Thank you for staying with us. We'll be right back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB Van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
We'll welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us this morning. And of course, we need to take the trend watch before we wrap up the show. And of course, I have with me here in the studio Pied Alto. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm still very much here. All right.
All right, we have the story and that says EFCC Office and Matchmaking Program is a dismissed staff. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission condemned in the strongest terms the involvement of one of its former staff, Olakunle Alex Folarin, in a matchmaking program running on Lege Miami social media platforms. Folarin was recently dismissed from the commission for certificate forgery. He was a driver at the Ibadan Zonal Directorate of the EFCC. The executive chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, has ordered his arrest for being in possession of some commission's properties, including an identity card which he should have handed over upon being dismissed from the EFCC. The public is advised against associating Folarin's post-dismissal conduct with the EFCC. What do you make of this story, Part, because it's a very serious one, looking at the fact that this show, I don't know if you've seen comment about this show before, it usually used to have like high views because people will always join because it's matchmaking. There are a lot of Nigerians that are looking for husband and there are a lot of Nigerians that are looking for wives.
Sure, I really don't know why would they dismiss or why would they say they have nothing to do with him. This person has a problem. And sometimes you always talk about things. You see some people, you see them wear clothes, but inside of them, they're going through a lot. So doing that kind of a thing, I feel it's just for him to just come out and say, oh, this is what I am going through. Whatever it is you want to do, please do for me. So let's see how it unfolds. And of course, I really don't know why that is happening right now. The person has come to say something about it.
All right, and also about his arrest, I think is excessive. I mean, it can be called to say, let's talk about this. Why would you go on that show or make reasons? Because I also read a story whereby they said, he was dismissed because of, forgery of his certificate. I mean, that's allowed. So he was dismissed on that basis. But arresting him, after joining this program, I don't know what led to that. I mean, it can be sorted without, necessarily arresting the man because of that. And speaking of EFCC, I don't know if you have noticed, we've been seeing a lot about them. They've been arresting people, and I'm sure you know about them.
And they are working.
The Obasanjo, they are working, honestly. So we should give them an applause.
Give them an applause. That's from you.
You don't want to clap for them?
I am not saying that. Okay. I said they are working. Okay. You remember, they're actually till to 2027 if the boss are actually looking at a favor of being favored to re-elect to be the chairman of that particular commission. So that's why they're actually working like, here you will see FCC, there you will see FCC. So they are working. Well, away from that, let's quickly look at this one too. We have Queen Mercy Atang, the former BB Niger season 6, that's 2021, Shine Your Eye housemate. She is from Akwa Ibom, and is talking about the husband. Some people have said that, oh, she's nice, she's single, and he's coming to say, I am not a single. So like of the fans react as BBN's Queen Mercy Atang's husband's comment vanishes from her post.
I don't know. Some people like to monitor other people so well.
Why won't they monitor? She's a public figure.
But to that extent, I mean, she can decide for herself if at all anything is going to happen at all. But I think Nigerians, we should be more tolerant. These celebrities are also human beings and they have blood running through their veins.
Well, of course, she went further to talk about something, and and that's she said, okay. She said, as fans of Baby Naija Style, I've raised eyebrow after a comment her husband, David Oyekome, left under her post this morning, vanished, amidst rumor of their marriage and crisis. So David wrote, "Mines accompanied by some love emojis, blah 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 blah," and it vanished does not mean that the marriage has crashed, or there is something happening to the marriage. Well, we have some comments there. I mean, few comments there, and we have the comments there. We have Just Cindy _ saying she deleted the husband's comment under the post.
That's not enough reason to say the marriage has crashed, honestly. And Chidi Christopher says, her husband comment, honestly, I can't read that. Another comment, please. Pretty Prophet says, I feel saying now only me notice Omo, you don't really boss Jesus. On top marriage, we are happy that honestly, someone else's marriage is a serious business. All right, that's how far we can go this morning. A big thanks to you for joining Daybreak Live this morning. Do well to join us same time tomorrow. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. My name is Oluwayemi Adela. Good morning.
Of course, my name is Pat Aita saying have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye for now.